Hey guys, I just wanted to share, my mental health story today. I guess just being in line with the November, mental health month for men, raising awareness around men's health, primarily mental health, and also suicide prevention. So, my story is a little bit different to what you're probably expecting me to say, or it may raise a few feathers as well. May piss a few people off, with their views and what they think about mental health and treatment. But trust me, if you've walked in my shoes and survived, you're going to be thinking exactly the same as what I'm telling you today. This morning, I took my first dose at 50% of the antidepressant Effexor. This antidepressant Effexor is considered 10 to 20 times harder to come off, taper off than heroin. 10 to 20% times harder to come off than heroin. It's taken me 3.5 years just to get here today. More than 3.5 years to get here today. It's taken me. This is my third attempt. 2 failed attempts. It's taking so much from me. It's taken so much away from me. It's just it's put me through hell on earth that I can't. It's indescribable, the pain and suffering, psychological, neurological, that I've been put through over the past 3.5 years. It's indescribable and inhumane. And this drug has also put my family, through so much as well. I must have driven them crazy over the past, few years from this experience. But if I didn't have my family, I wouldn't be sitting here today telling you my story. And the reason today I am telling you that, I reached 50% is because this morning I dropped 5%. And in a few days' time, once my brain and nervous system realizes what's happening, I'm going to experience some very nasty, life-threatening side effects, such as hallucinations. I'm not going to be able to drive for probably a week or so until my nervous system catches up with what's happening. I'm going to experience severe vertigo. My levels of akathisia, a disorder or side effect from psychiatric medications, is going to probably skyrocket. I've attached a link to this post so you can have a look at akathisia, because it's a beast and it's a horrible side effect which kills a lot of people worldwide, and the families of people that die wouldn't even know that akathisia is a culprit. I'm going to experience severe tinnitus. I'm going to have sound insensitivities. I'm going to have severe agitation, emotional disturbance. I'm going to probably cry a lot. But this is just part of the healing process to come off psychiatric medications long term. This is just the brain and the nervous system adapting to the drop in drug. These side effects are life-threatening, guys. But I have to do it to come off the drug, because if I don't come off the drug, then I'm going to continue to be suffering on the drug. It's called physical dependence. A doctor or a GP, primarily GP, even a shrink, a psychiatrist would take you off these drugs in a month, regardless of time you've been on the drug. They'd take you off within a month, and that's just extremely dangerous and deadly. You know, every time a doctor gets out his lolly jar, he gets his little prescription pad of goodies, and unbelievable, and you know, writes out a script for you. There should be informed consent that, you know, when you're on these drugs, you know, hey Cole, these drugs only trial for 8 weeks, guys. You know, all these psychiatric drugs are only trialed 8 weeks at the most. Anything after that, it's unknown. You're pretty much an experiment, a human experiment, to the pharmaceutical companies, just like this vaccine is going to be, you know, for people that want to get jabbed. It's unbelievable. But, you know, there should be informed consent to let you know that, hey Cole, you know, these drugs have only been trialed for 2 months. We'll put you on for 3 to 6 months, lift you out of your hole, depression or whatever you're going through, and then we're slowly going to taper you off the drug. You know, just that advice alone could save hundreds of thousands to millions of people per year. Just that advice alone. You know, doctors need to be educated, you know, about this and about these drugs, because they're very dangerous, and, you know, long term they're doing a lot more harm than good. You know, I guarantee, you know, in 10 to 20 years' time, psychiatric drug withdrawal and physical dependence to the drug, because people are unable to get off it, it's going to be one of the biggest health problems worldwide. It's already a silent pandemic. In 10 to 20 years' time, if the medical profession, you know, doesn't listen to people like myself who've been hurt from these medications, it's going to be one of the biggest health problems and one of the biggest cause of disabilities in the world. And you may be pissing yourself laughing at home, but you're not going to be laughing when your sister or your girlfriend or your mum or dad, you know, is fighting for their life, trying to come off these drugs. You're not going to be laughing then. You know, these drugs, the prescription drugs, are the top 5 leading causes of death in the world. Every year in the States, United States of America, there's about, you know, roughly 500,000 people over the age of 65 are being killed, you know, by these drugs. It's just unbelievable. For the rest of the country, I don't know, but I'd say there'd be upwards to over 1 million a year in the States having their health destroyed by these drugs. In Australia, I don't know the Australian Bureau of Statistics. I'm not sure how accurate it is. If it's anything close to this Chinese flu coronavirus, well, it might not be too accurate at all, the statistics, but, you know, it says that there's 75 to 80,000 people a year being killed by these drugs, you know. That's more than 80 times the amount of deaths from COVID. And people wonder why I'm not scared of COVID. It's why aren't we talking about it more? Why isn't it getting out there? It's corruption. It's all about making money, and the government's corrupt. The healthcare ministries are corrupt, and the pharmaceutical companies are some of the most corrupt, dangerous, companies in the world. And people are so blind they don't even realise. They think marijuana's not safe, and yet they're allowing a drug, which is so much more deadly than that, to be prescribed under their very eyes. It's just unbelievable. So enough rambling on, guys. I just want to raise awareness around this topic of long-term, psychiatric drugs being prescribed, because long-term these drugs are doing a lot more damage than good. And for myself, I know I've got a long way to go. I'm halfway there, and I'm very proud of my accomplishments. I've had no help from the doctors whatsoever. No help. I'm coming off a drug which is a lot harder to come off than heroin, and I've had nothing. The only help I've had from a doctor is a benzodiazepine. You can become addicted to benzodiazepines in 2 weeks to 4 weeks. My doctor didn't even know that. That's all he's offered me, and I just laughed. It's just unbelievable. I've had to do all my own research and have a lot of resilience and a lot of internal belief and a lot of self-empowerment to get here to this point today and talk to you guys. But no, probably the hardest thing for me is, all the side effects I'm put through, and I struggle every day of my life to levels that are undescribable, to someone who hasn't been through this process. But probably the hardest thing for me is that people will never realise what I'm going through. I've dropped 5% today. I'm putting my life on the line, and yet people will expect you to carry on tomorrow as it's another day. That's probably the hardest thing for me to fathom, is that people have no idea, and the more we can get this, the more I can raise awareness around this topic, and the more awareness that is raised, people are going to have a little bit, better understanding of what it's like, because it needs to happen. For myself, I'm hurting badly, but I'm a strong person. I'm very strong, both mentally and physically, and I believe that I'm going to make this out in one piece. I believe I'm going to get off this drug and live a very happy and successful life. Every little drop I take, as painful as it is, I know I'm a little bit closer to that finish line, and I get little glimpses of, what it's like, to feel emotion again, to feel alive again. Because when you take these drugs for so long, you lose all of that. You're depersonalized. You feel like your brain is dead, and you don't want to sort of go on anymore. But the more I come off, I'm getting these little glimpses, you know, of what it's like to feel like a human again, and just thinking of the life I'm going to be able to live once I'm off these drugs. You know, just that thought alone is enough. It's enough for me, you know, to go through any war, any battle. I hold on to that little glimpse of hope, and it's going to get me there. You know, I know long term, all up it might take another 5 years to completely heal, but I'm okay with that. You know, I'm a realist, and you know, I know with self-determination and heart, I'm going to get there. So you know, thanks very much, guys, for watching my story today, and I've hoped, you know, I've raised a little bit of awareness, and got the topic of physical dependence to psychiatric meds, and raised concerns around the tapering of these drugs. So that's what I'm trying to do. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Cheers.